on our heads and face forwards. Rays of light are focused by the lens on a light-sensitive surface.
But what does this image tell us of the real world?
Hey everyone, so life is still going on in spite of these weird times. I got my first vaccination this week, so like big thumbs up there. But otherwise everything's kind of been about the same. I'm still here at the house, just hanging out, not a lot to do. So I've had a lot of time to just work on stuff. And it gave me a chance finally to finish a project that I conceived over 2 years ago now. So in fall of 2018, I went to the Hackaday Super Conference here in Pasadena. It was my second one that I had been to. And one of the things they gave away in the swag bag was this little like dev board or badge called the Halloween, made by Adafruit. And this board looked like a little skull. It had some capacitive touch sensors for teeth, and it had a little screen, and the screen showed an eyeball that looked around. And all I did was kind of look around and blink, and it had a light sensor so it could react to ambient light. And I thought that thing was pretty neat. And I, somewhere along the line, thought it would be cool to have that display on a CRT screen instead of that little LCD. But the fact was, I had no idea how to do that. Earlier on in this project, a friend of mine saw what I was working on, and he lamented something like, oh no, not another project with an eye. Why is everyone always doing projects with eyes? And I guess he's right. Like, the eye is a pretty common motif in not just like electronics projects, but in all kinds of things, in art and whatever. But like, why? What makes the eye such a compelling image? I mean, there is something about the eye that captures our imaginations, right? We say things like the eyes are the window to the soul, and if we feel creeped out, we say it feels like I'm being watched. Cultures across the world have various versions of this evil eye mythology, in which, you know, if someone gives you a malevolent stare, it can curse you somehow, right? And cultures also have various ways of protecting yourself from the evil eye. And typically these ways of protecting yourself are like amulets or other trinkets that also feature our eye. Now, I'm not an evolutionary biologist or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, so I don't really know what makes the eye so compelling. I'm sure there's research out there, but you can look around the animal kingdom and see that this is not something that's just isolated to humanity, right? And you see animals like butterflies and moths and fish that have these very striking eye spots on them. And some of them, you know, they're just circles, but other ones really, really look like eyes. And those, you know, they startle predators, they confuse predators. So there's something about the eye that really is a powerful symbol in nature, and it holds true for us as well. So I don't know, am I compelled by my evolutionary origins to be interested in the imagery of eyes? Is that why I think they're fun for projects? I don't know, who knows, but like the fact is that I think they're neat. So anyhow, back to this project. In early 2019, I went to SparkleCon, which is another conference here in Southern California, another hacking conference. And my friend Jaron Havill and I played with it a little bit. We were not able to actually make the Halloween code display anything on a CRT. But what we did do was just film a video of the eye from the Halloween doing its thing, and then I put that video onto a Raspberry Pi, and then I output the video as a composite video and sent it to a little CRT screen that I had been playing with. And yeah, it was what it was, but you know, it wasn't really right. Like, it didn't react. All it did, it was a pre-recorded video. And I really wanted an interactive eye. I wanted something that would react to the world around it. I wanted something that you could control when you played with it. So it wasn't satisfactory, right? But then I saw on Instagram, one of my friends who goes by the name of Toxic Clay, who's actually starting their own YouTube channel. I'll put the link in the description, so go check their channel out. They do some neat stuff. I saw that they had been playing around with using the TV out library for Arduino to display little faces on a CRT screen. And I thought it looked really cool. So I asked for a copy of their code and they shared it with me. Ultimately, that code didn't work for what I wanted to do. And the code that did get developed for this project is probably the most complex code that I've ever worked on. And I gotta be honest, like, a lot of this work was not done by me. It started with a friend of mine who took a stab at it last year, and he wrote some code and it did everything I wanted it to do. You could make the eye look around by using a joystick. You could make it blink. You could have it react to light like I wanted. But the problem was that it was written for Arduino, and an Arduino is not a terribly powerful microcontroller. So the problem was that it didn't run very fast. The animation was only like 4 frames a second or something. And that's not really usable. So I didn't know how to fix that. Like the resources in the Arduino are what they are. It only runs so fast, and I had no idea. So again, I shelved this project. But then this spring, I was talking to my friend Roger, who has been absolutely instrumental in making this happen. He's very good at coding, and he thought maybe this is something that we can speed up. We can make it work better. And so we worked on it, and he made it happen. So with the code out of the way, I just needed to make some decisions about how I wanted the project to look. And for that, I drew from a few different sources. For one, I really liked the way that Toxic Clay's little CRT face project looked. There was something very cool about the little blocks that they designed for that. And so I said, like, you know what, this is the style I want to use for the eye that actually appears on the screen. And the thing about the TV out library is that it only puts out black and white, not even shades of gray, and it's very low resolution. So you're very limited in what you can do stylistically. And so you're kind of stuck with that look of the original Pong, which, if you're not familiar, is just a little white block that moves around on the screen. That's the ball, and 2 white lines that are your paddles. And so I thought, if I'm stuck with this display-wise, I'm going to lean into it, and I want the enclosure to draw from that same era. And I found a picture of a Pong arcade game, and you know, it kind of pushed all the right buttons for me. It was yellow, it had faux wood paneling, and so I said, you know, like I want the yellow, I want the wood paneling, I want that in this project. And so I made the front panel out of an actual piece of walnut that I had out in my garage. The metal case is something I salvaged from a motor controller that had a bunch of burned up electronics inside of it. Painted that yellow. And the screen itself is one of those sideways CRTs. Like, it's a flat CRT instead of like the kind in your TV where the neck is here and the screen is here. This one's sort of sideways. Anyway, you find those in Sony Watchmen, those little portable TVs. This one I took out of a video intercom. The joystick is from an RC motor controller that I dug out of the trash, except that I made a new knob for it. I didn't like the little aluminum knob, so on my lathe I turned a nice like swirly pearlescent plastic knob. It's like a lot chunkier than the original one, and I'm pretty happy with how that came out. And I thought it'd be funny to kind of present this as the most boring video game, because all you can do is play an eye. Like, you as the player, all you can do is make the eyeball look around. You can make it look left, you can make it look right, up and down, you can make it blink, and you can make the pupil size expand and contract with ambient light. And then after like 3 minutes, the eye gets tired and goes to sleep. So I played with the idea of this being an imaginary piece of educational software that was really poorly conceived and like badly implemented. Like something you might have found on an Apple II if you were in a classroom in 1986. So that's it. It's a handheld gaming console with the world's worst video game on it that lets you be really bored simulating an eyeball for 3 minutes before it goes to sleep. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time, and keep an eye out for for the next video.